everyone, it's Lindsay. Today I'm going to be showing you my March wrap-up for this year. I did read about 7 books. I read one on my Kindle app on my phone, and then the rest were physical books. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. I really like to hear what you guys read this month, in the month of March, or your spring TBRs. But the first one that I read was the manga for My Hero Academia. This is book 6. So, finished this one. Thought it was really good. Can't wait to get the rest of them. I'm slowly, very slowly, but surely building up my Hero Academia collection. So, oh, and I rated that one 5 stars. And then I have my next book, which is Verity by Colleen Hoover. This was my first Colleen Hoover book that I have read, and I absolutely loved it. This was such a wild ride from like the very beginning. I mean, the first sentence of this book is crazy. It opens with someone getting killed, so it's intense. And I am definitely on the team of Team Manuscript, not Team Letter at all whatsoever, because there's no way. Like, just if you've read it, you know what I mean. Like, but manuscripts all the way for sure. So I read this one, gave it 5 stars. It was a really good book, really liked it. If you don't know what it's about, let me just explain what the book is about first before I start raving about it. But this book follows a female writer. She's kind of a mediocre writer. Like, she's not terrible, but she's not like that good either. Like, she's barely scraping by. So she gets the chance to go and continue this series for this other writer who has had an accident of some sort, and now she cannot continue her book series, which is really successful. Like, everybody knows who she is. So they contracted this writer to continue the books for her, to be like a co-author or whatever for her. So she goes to stay at her house, meets her husband, and the things happen that I was anticipated to happen, and it didn't happen for a long time. It was a very slow burn, so I was really excited for when it actually did happen. But some pretty messed up stuff happens in this book, for sure. And me being a mother, definitely was kind of hard to read at some points, but it was really good. I really liked this book. The next book that I read was Nothing But Blackened Teeth. And this is a really short horror book. I think it was like 200 pages, if that. But it was just like your typical, like, haunted house kind of horror movie-esque book. It's about these friends that go to, I believe it's Japan. They go to a Japanese house that's abandoned. It's known for being haunted from this bride who died waiting for her groom. And so these friends decide to play around with ghosts, and stuff goes wrong very quickly because it's very short. But it was a really good book. It was really fun, typical horror movie stuff. So nothing really that surprising happened. But I really liked the way that the book progressed. So it was a really fun, cute short read. I gave that one, I believe, 3 stars. It was pretty good. And then me and my dad, we read books each month. So the book that we read this month was Artemis. And this one I gave about 3 stars. This one is by Andy Weir, the same author as The Martian and Project Hail Mary. This one has a female lead character for once in his books, and it was all right. It was good up until like the end of the book, and then it felt very rushed. It felt like this book was in between. So it did come out in between The Martian and Project Hail Mary, but it felt like he had the concept, and then he was running out of money, and he just rushed this book, published it, and got the money that he needed to continue Project Hail Mary. So at the end, it was very unrealistic as a city that's on the moon already. But even then, there were things that happened that was just like, how convenient for that to just be open for our main character for the story to progress. So there were some elements of that in it. It wasn't his best writing, but it was still overall a good book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I wrote, that I read was Tender as the Flesh, and I gave this one 5 stars. Definitely a new favorite. Such a good book. It was such a good parallel to see between animals and people. If you don't know, this book is about, there is a disease that is in animals, so their meat is toxic to us. So we decide to just breed people and hardwire everything for people instead of animals, like the slaughterhouses and stuff. And yeah, it's cannibals. So it was a really good book. I really liked the metaphors and, you know, all the deep, like, philosophical stuff about it and how we, you know, treat animals. So yeah, it was a really good book. Very gory at times, but it was really good. And the last book that I read, my dad and I were supposed to read this one because we finished Artemis kind of early. So we were supposed to read this one together, but he ended up not liking it, and he actually DNF'd the book, but I just continued reading it. And that is Game Changer by Neal Shusterman, I think. It's the guy that wrote Scythe, the trilogy of Scythe. But this one is about a high school football player, and he one day gets hit in the head so hard that he gets transported to a different dimension. And every time he gets hit, he gets sent to another dimension and another one and another one, or alternate realities, pretty much. So if you've ever seen the movie The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher, this is pretty much the exact same thing, just with a high school student. And yeah, he can go back to different realities and everything. So it was a really good book. It was really nice, you know, good sci-fi kind of book. But those were all the books that I read in March. Oh, and the one that I read on my Kindle. It was just a graphic novel. It was the Black Beauty graphic novel. I didn't realize how much of I guess it's middle grade. I didn't realize how young of an audience it was targeted for, because it was a very short, like, straight to the point of Black Beauty instead of the actual, like, in-depth book. So I read that one. It took me like 20 minutes, I think, to read that one. It didn't take long at all. So I read that graphic novel. It was pretty cute. I like the artwork in it. I cannot remember who it's by, but I gave it 3 stars. But that was all the books that I read in March. And if you noticed, I got my hair done. I got it for my birthday, because my birthday was March 25th. So during that week, I didn't read anything because I was out doing stuff. So I got my hair done. My sister-in-law did it. And then I also got a new tattoo. And it is on the back of my arm. And it is an eye. So yeah, that's what I did for my birthday, and that's what I did in the month of March. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.